to Bitcoin Podcast. The only one that's taking your money is you. Listen to the Bitcoin Podcast. So hold on and listen to the Bitcoin Podcast. Listen to the Bitcoin. Hold on and listen to the Bitcoin Podcast. And you listen to the Bitcoin Podcast. And you listen to the Bitcoin Podcast. And you listen to the Bitcoin Podcast.
Yo,
What's up?
yeah. What's up? Look at us. Live.
That was nice.
Hey, for the first time, we're saying live, and we're live.
We're actually live. We're actually live.
Yeah.
We're staying live for 341 episodes and been lying to you
Yeah.
this whole time.
And we weren't live. That's 341 lives. Sorry, we're live. Yeah. So welcome to the Bitcoin Podcast. This is episode 342. We've done origin stories before, but we're gonna do that today. But I'm the host that talks first, D.
I am the host, talk second, Dr. Corey Petty.
And I am the third host, Jessie Broke.
Yeah,
Man,
Jessie-
the man broke.
Okay.
Jesse the man broke.
We're gonna
No, you can't
make
leave
sure
that
that you
part
say
out.
your name the way we want you to say your name.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say it any kind of way. So,
Okay.
anyways, yeah. So this is episode 342. So we're about to since we got this total upgrade on production quality. Look at us. We
So
decided.
fancy.
I know, fancy with a capital F, or said like that one singer. What was that song? I'm so fancy. It was a song. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. Anyways, we're gonna do an origin story for you guys. So you know who we are, and you know why you should be listening to us. So who wants to go first? Should I go first?
Yeah, go first.
So it all started on a rainy night back in 1984. My father, his name, Ronnie, and my mother, Loretta, and they had been listening to some Barry White and probably drinking gas station wine.
You think gas station wine? Your parents aren't classy?
Not back then, they weren't. It takes time to build culture. So yeah, drinking some gas station wine, listening to Barry White. He was looking at her, saying I can't get enough of your love, babe. And she was like, that's not really original because that's straight from the song. And he said, whatever. You don't have to be so judgmental. We're about to smash. So then 9 months later was me. I was birthed, and then the world was changed forever. And that's it. That's my story. On to you, Jesse. No, I'm playing.
I'm so handy.
Let's talk a little bit about me. I was a math teacher, then I was a business consultant, then I was a small business consultant, and this whole time doing those things, I've been obsessed with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. My buddy Corey over there. You can point the wrong way, Corey. Oh shit, we can do a fusion dance like Dragon Ball Z.
I don't
You
know.
you gotta touch my finger, Corey.
Which way is the right way?
Touch the finger. There we go. Corey and I met each other in college through Halo 2. It was a blasty blast. I did the killing
through Halo 2.
How else did we meet then?
I'll let you know on my origin story, but go ahead.
All right. And nevertheless, Corey and I are great friends. We've been friends for almost 2 whole decades. We met in college at Texas Tech University. Get your guns up. I know that's not kosher to you. If you see another Texas Texan in the airport, don't
Texas Tech is about to get canceled by Texas.
Really? What happened?
Because everything's getting canceled these days.
Ooh. Well, if you see another Texas Texan in the airport, don't throw your guns up because it's going to be bad news for you guys. So anyways, we started hanging out. We were talking about life, philosophy, sciences, maths. We had some classes together, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, I graduated from tech. Corey. So if I'm a level 1 nerd, Corey's like a level, I don't know, 10,000.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's like, I'm like Vegeta. He's Kakarot when it comes to like nerd levels. So he's like, hey man, I found out about this thing. It's like digital money, and you're probably gonna be into it. And at the time, I was teaching with real ass motherfucking problems like bills and debt, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. He's like, no, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a big fucking deal. You should check it out. It's called Bitcoin. It's digital money. And I remember telling him, like, yeah, I don't, nobody wants this digital monopoly money. That's what I said verbatim. And then that's where the conversation stopped.
Think
And
you did
then-
you're like, you want to go watch The Count of Monte Cristo?
Anyways, that's an inside joke. Maybe you guys just signing on for the Bitcoin podcast will learn why the Count of Monte Cristo is such a big deal.
I can just pick it up from there because it's the same origin story.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's pretty much that. Like,
Yeah,
was like,
I mean, I was in there. I watched. I used to be really into watching TED Talks when in college. I didn't learn about Bitcoin until I was in sometime in my. I think my undergraduate.
No, you were a graduate.
Was I in graduate school?
Yeah, you were in graduate school.
Okay, I was in graduate school. And I just watched TED Talks all the time in my study. And I watched a TED Talk about the concept of money. Can't remember which one it was. And they talked about like in some places, like literally like Tide, like the washing detergent, is a form of currency. For some reason or other. I don't remember that. But he bled into the concept of Bitcoin and talked about it. I think the talk was actually about Bitcoin, but he was just describing like the concept of money because you end up learning a lot about that stuff along the way. And it was fascinating. And I read the white paper and I was like, oh, and I kept reading. And as everyone in this entire industry has said at least 4,000 times, I fell on the rabbit hole. And then I told D and he's like, that's stupid. And then I told D a few more times. And then I started mining, made a Litecoin miner with one of my buddies. And then I convinced D and the other co-founder of the show, who's no longer with us, Cello. Yeah. D and Cello made a miner, and we just kept doing stuff. And then I moved to Brazil. I got a postdoc in Brazil, and we're like, hey, man, how do we keep doing this? Because we don't want to mine anymore. It's kind of annoying. How do we keep doing this? And then D and Cello were like, hey, we're going to make a TV show. We're going to make a podcast. And I remember that when Cello first told me, I was in Brazil. He was like, hey, man, we're going to make a podcast. I was like, sweet. It's like, it's going to be about Bitcoin. I was like, sweet. I can't wait to listen to it. And I think that he was insinuating that he wanted me to be a part of it, but he never said those words. And so I was like, cool, man. That sounds like something awesome. And then D was like, hey, we want you to be a part of it. I was like, cool. I want to be a part of it. And then this was all born. And then later on down the line, Cello left. And we're like, hey, we need another person. In comes Jessie.
Yeah, I stumbled onto the podcast when I was being a degenerate back in like late 2016, early 2017. Stumbled into the Slack, and then I made a shit ton of money, and then and then I enjoyed the community for what it was, which was like not, what other crypto communities were about, which was purely money. And I don't know. I enjoyed hanging out with Corey and enjoyed hanging out with D and just listening to them and just kind of learning what wisdom they could bestow upon me when I was younger. But yeah.
And now here we are. Giving you video content. D's video is frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Bye, D. D's gone. Come back later. So D's origin story is now a what's the opposite of an origin story?
Oh,
there he is. Never mind.
Yeah. Google Chrome issue, the technical difficulties, whatever.
We're learning here. Yeah. So we're actually moving into video content, which we never did for. I think we dabbled,
tried, bro. We dabbled.
We're not very good at dabbling.
No, not at all. But we dabbled. And then what I was trying to do was show everyone the miner that I built, But for some reason, my computer was like, bro, this is too much. You're going live. You're going on Instagram. You're
I got
doing way
videos of
too
my
much.
miner.
Yeah.
Let me find that thing.
We could share it. Hopefully we could share it. I'm going to try to bring it up for you guys here, audience, so you can know we're serious about our pimping.
I got some quality image. Like, what is it? Imager? How do you pronounce that?
Yeah.
That website?
Imgur. I think it's Imgur.
I'm pretty sure it's not. But okay.
I'm more sure than you, actually.
Cool. What do you want to talk about today? We're doing so later on. We're going to bring in. Nice. Later
That's
on, we're
it.
going to bring in some. You hit F11 on that, bro.
How do I hit F11 on it?
How do you hit F11?
How do I hit that? Hold on, let me try that. There we go. Bam. So yeah, this was the miner. This was it. And I had this tube here hooked up to I had this tube here hooked up to an air conditioner, right? It would pull cold air into here, and the heat would come out here, and there would be cool air pulled in through the AC. So
that is not a. I'm trying to think on how efficient that would be, because it's not a negative pressure system. It looks like.
Well, I mean, I tried to make it as negative possible, but I tried to pull heat
depends
up
on the
through
pressure.
here,
Yeah.
But my
one of the comments in the private is it's kind of missing some sidewalls.
no, this is dope, man. I welded this fucking frame with my bare hands in a welding machine. I was like, yeah, this is dope. And I just took an old case and was like, fuck it, we're gonna make this shit ride. And I did it. And then I was on some stupid Instagram trend, quite obviously back then. Hashtag 100 happy days. What the hell is that? If somebody could tell me when that was, it would be fun. But anyways, there's that. So, that's not what we want. That's what we want. So, yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of my origin story, and Corey's and Jessie's. There's not much more to it than that. If we were going to make a whole episode of this, we're sadly mistaken, guys. We need to go into some crypto content, ASAP.
I mean, I could talk a lot about more origin stuff, like how we went through how the podcast got started, where we went, what we tried, how we used to
Should we go into
do
more
it.
details? Our story was kind of whack.
It was kind of hilarious. I mean, I think in my opinion, I love it because it's a story about how you just go do something, even if you don't know what the hell you're doing, you just go.
That's very true. So, some of the best things that happened in my life, I don't know about you listeners, is when you're like, oh, I'm going to do something, and you just fucking do it, and you don't know what you're doing. You just kind of go one step at a time and try not to break your legs. You just figure it out because there's plenty of risks that can be taken. So, nevertheless, we just start, and our old founder Cello was like, hey, if you buy all the audio equipment, then I will make the website, make the podcast, figure everything else out on the back end. And I was like, deal. And I went on Amazon and spent a bunch of money, click, boom, done. And he was like, I didn't think you were serious. And I was like, do you even fucking know me? So anyways, boom, we get all this audio equipment, and I have it right over here. I'm actually going to grab it. You guys are going to laugh at this. Hold up. I kept it for this reason. So this. Do you see this shit, Corey?
Oh, that was ridiculous when you bought all that and made all that.
So this was
Do you have an extra boom?
I do. So this was our original mic, which is a really good mic, by the way.
Poor audio. All the people who have normally listened to us are going to be like, what the hell is going on?
And then I made this to be makeshift soundproofing from Hobby Lobby. There's a wire frame in here, so it's actually, I probably should have patented this. You know what I'm saying? It spreads out to catch this. And I was like, Cello, I soundproofed my studio. And he was like, your parents' bedroom? And I was like, no, it's my studio, bitch. And so, or your parents' crib. So anyways, there was that. And then, so Cello contacts Corey in Brazil, and he's like, hey, I'm going to do a Bitcoin podcast. You guys heard that part. Corey's like, okay, cool. I'll listen, but that's it. So then Cello comes back to me kind of sad. He's like, hey, man, I talked to your boy Corey about, helping us host the Bitcoin podcast. And he shot me down. He said no. And I was like, what? No, he ain't doing shit. That doesn't sound like him. So,
he ain't doing shit.
So I called Corey and I'm like, yo, he's like, what's up? I was like, hey, man, we're making a podcast. He's like, I know, I'm really excited to listen. And I was like, no, we want you to be on the podcast. We want you to host it with us. We want you to be the third host. And he was like, oh, okay, I'm down. Like, when do we record? And I was like, we're recording on, when did we record? Sundays, I thought, right? Sunday mornings.
Saturday.
No,
It was Saturday.
Saturday mornings. I was
Saturday
like,
mornings at 10. Well, depending on what time.
depending on when I
was
could
in
wake
Brazil
up.
when we started, so it was always weird.
Yeah. It was weird times. And so anyways, so Corey's like, yeah, I'm sure. And then Saturday, we all joined up. We all linked up. And we made it happen. It was terrible. Like the very first podcast, Cello was sitting like literally 3 feet away from me. And he and I were talking into each other's mics. So we had like 4 echoes at once. And Corey was like, Jesus, this is terrible. And we were both like, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to listen to this. Like, it's just kind of us like talking because our parents don't want to listen to us talk about it anymore. And our friends think we're crazy as shit. So, that's how that went down.
It's a great way for us to like keep track of stuff and then like come together and hang out and then talk about what happened. Because back then you could like, I don't know, read Reddit and understand everything that ever happened in Bitcoin.
Yeah. And, a lot of the information that we were like digesting and then regurgitating was from Reddit at the very beginning, before there was the whole Thamos is bitch made controversy and all the Reddit moderation and the forking. Everyone was like, the Reddit community was like what the Doge community turned into way back in the day.
If you go back and listen to the early episodes, like the earlier episode, like maybe like the first 75 episodes, you're going to hear a lot of birds.
Yeah, definitely. Brazilian exotic birds
and
too.
babies. Now it's mostly dogs. We changed the background noise over time. And it's because I lived in Brazil and you can't close windows. And if you did, it doesn't matter. And there were like, I don't know, 6 toucans outside my window.
Damn.
At all times. And they just like stared at me and squawked. And there's nothing I can do about it.
I didn't know. How long were you in Brazil for?
About 2 years.
2 years? Okay.
Yeah, so I gotta share screen here to show you my mining rig. Yeah, so I'll don't put this on the front part, Alicia. Share screen. This one, share. Bring that to the front, and then just when I tell you to, or D, whoever the fuck wants to do it. So like we were like I was into mining. I wanted to mine, but I was a broke ass college student, doing graduate school, getting paid enough to live, like living comfortably, but probably above my means. But I wanted to mine because it was a reasonable thing to do at that time. Well, it seemed that way. Turned out it was a good bet. But I didn't have any capital to build a miner because back then the graphics cards were super, super, super scarce. You had to get a certain type of graphics card that was really hard to get a hold of, and the markup on them was like through the roof. And then, but I had like the computer skills to build it, understand the software, modify it appropriately, tune it appropriately, all this type of stuff, and set it up. And so I found a buddy of mine who who I convinced through yelling Bitcoin at him for about a year to fund it. We would do this together as a joint venture. And he was a sailor. He literally spent half of his time going out to Alaska and doing Alaska, like he was an Alaskan fisherman.
What kind of fish did he catch?
I forget. Like the same thing they did at the the Deadliest Catch.
Are you sure it wasn't crab?
He used to.
What? Why are you making that face?
I don't know what you're. I'm not. You're not baiting me.
And you know what? I'm just asking questions.
I don't trust you.
What kind of shoes did he wear?
Shoes did he wear?
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a joint venture. I'm not getting into this.
Why are those details
I don't know what kind of question you're
important?
asking me.
I was just
Weird
wondering
questions.
why those details are important.
I don't trust you.
He was a fisherman.
No. Oh, because the details are important for a reason. I'm getting to that.
Columbus Day.
Chill the fuck out. He was a fisherman, and so as a fisherman, he does a lot of knots, and he ties things together with the ropes.
Oh, okay, that does make sense now.
Right? So like that's how he does stuff. He was like, I don't know how. And so I was waiting on all the parts that we had ordered to come to the house, and I had built everything but the graphics cards. Right? So like when you build a miner, these old graphics card miners, you have a bunch of risers, which are like long cables that go from the motherboard to the graphics card. So that because you can't fit like the older motherboards, you can't fit all the graphics cards in a single all together. And I had everything. So motherboard set up. Didn't have a frame yet. I was going to build that later, which I ended up building a guide to how to build a frame for miners. I'll show you that. Let me show you that later. And I was out of town, and all the graphics card came, and I was like, all right, buddy, I'm not going to say his name because I'd rather not. Why don't you come over? I've given you like instructions on how to put these things together. All you have to do is plug them in and turn the power on. And he unboxes the graphics cards. He's like, how do I plug these things in? I was like, where do these things sit? I don't know. I said, I don't know. Make it so that each graphics card is intaking fresh air. You want to make sure that the intake of a single graphics card is not intaking the exhaust from another graphics card. And he's like, how do I do that? I said, I don't know. Be creative. I'll fix it when you come home. And he sends me this picture when he's done. You can go ahead and it's
Holy shit.
he takes so what you're seeing is, and we can probably link this, it's an Imager album that I published because I thought it was hilarious. You're seeing a piece of plastic flooring that I used for my bathroom, I think, or maybe your bathroom, D, at the time, because we lived together, on top of the motherboard box so that you have anti-static. Because I think it's rubber flooring. With the motherboard on top and a piano stand. It was like a Casio piano would sit on top of that X.
Oh my god, dude!
Stand.
That's my fucking keyboard stand.
Yeah, he stole that.
I have the keyboard in my closet right now.
He literally strung up all of the graphics cards so that they wouldn't exhaust the intake from the same place. He sends me this picture. Apparently, he drank a bottle of wine while I did it. So good for him. He sends me this picture, and I was like, "Wow, oh my god!" And then I came home. After that, I mean, that's probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And then I came home and I made I fabricated a aluminum stand.
Oh wow, that looks
put it together.
Better. Yeah,
that's the same spot.
That's called getting pettied. Yeah,
and then put them together.
Yeah, that's much better.
That sat there and filled our house with noise for Wi-Fi.
Damn. What Corey isn't telling you is that he and I would remotely control our mining rigs together, and we would like count up our spoils, and it was very fun. It was when Litecoin was mineable by graphics cards. It was a lot of fun. It was very distracting too. I feel sorry for some of my lower performing students at the time because they were like, Mr. Ferguson, I need help. And I was like, I'm looking at my mining rig. I apologize. It's a right triangle. You got one of those angles. And so like, so it was really bad. I was like, use law of cosines. You got one of those angles. Take care of it. You got it. You got it. Look, here's an index card.Use a formula. No, that was pretty bad. I was heavily distracted by crypto. And yeah, that was kind of how we got started. And then, you know, as everyone says in crypto, we probably should make a shirt or whatever. You fall down the rabbit hole. You know, I started thinking about a lot of decentralized everything. I had a really close friend of mine say that I was a zealot, for Bitcoin. And I was like, so you think I'm going to murder you for Bitcoin? And he was like, sometimes it feels that way, bro. And I was like, don't fuck with me then. And then then
you should buy some Bitcoin then.
Yeah, maybe you should buy some Bitcoin. Stop fucking with me. No, anyways. And then I remember there was one of my friends who, you know, I regret this moment now, but he was making fun of me at a party. And I was like, I'll tell you what I'll do right now. I'm going to send you 2 Bitcoin and you can pay for both of your daughter's college education with these Bitcoin in 18 years. Guess what, motherfucker? I was right, bitch. I hope you're watching at some point because you can. You can pay for both of your daughter's college education with that Bitcoin now. And I hate myself a little bit. But that happened. And then I don't know. We just kept growing and growing and growing. And, you know, we had some lofty dreams when it started, Corey. Like, remember we were like, we're going to interview 3 women every 10 episodes. And now it's like, and then for a while, like, there was a long while we couldn't get any women on the show. There wasn't a lot of women in crypto.
Yeah, they're
And now
hard to
there is.
find. And when we found them, they just said no.
Yeah. But we interviewed, like, what's her name from the International Monetary Fund?
Wayne said, "I wonder why."
Yeah. Why, Wayne? Why are you well, we're very friendly to all types of people, except Australians.
Well, for the first maybe, I don't know, 50 to 100 episodes, 1 out of 2 to 3 episodes, D would alienate some group of people.
Yeah, it's
Hard.
pretty bad.
Like
Yeah.
real hard.
Yeah, those are definitely my glass ceilings. If I ever become popular in any front,
Yeah, you're getting thrown on the bus immediately
that's
through
where
podcast episodes.
that's where the buck stops. It stops in the first 15 episodes of the Bitcoin podcast.
Like, you need any other proof that he's a terrible human being? Like, he hates you. It's pretty much what
Oh
they
my
could
God.
just do, and the rest of the world would be like, yeah, we're not going with them. Sorry.
Yeah,
Not voting
pretty
for
much.
Demetri Ferguson.
So it is what it is. Sometimes it be that way. So I don't know, Jessie. And then Jessie came into the Slack making money, being a baller.
Yeah, Jesse, tell us more about like how you found us and
Mhm.
your experience in starting to get involved with this space, and then why you stuck around.
Hold up.
Okay.
Before we do that, I have to say, I knew I was going to be really good friends with Jessie. When the first time I met him, his avatar in our Slack, he had the same hair in real life. Like it was like it was just like his avatar was showing up on the screen, and then it went to his webcam, and it was actually him. And I was like, "Holy shit, you look just like your cartoon self." All right, we're gonna be best friends, and that was that was it. But anyways, go on, Jeff.
So the second half of that was like when I joined the podcast, I was super hyped, right? Everybody, I think during a bull run, right? You kind of you go to reiterate what Corey and D just said. You go down the rabbit hole. I hate that phrase. We should come
You
up with a
have to
better
say it.
phrase.
We should come up with a better phrase.
Yeah. So like I'd spend like a lot
Go
of
on a
time.
Lemmy Wink's journey.
Let him talk, man.
Oh,
No. So like yeah, you wait a minute. It's like yeah, exactly like what Wayne was saying. So here's the thing. I learned a lot trading in 2017. I learned that you can't always tell if you're winning in a bull market and if you're trading effectively, because everybody's making money essentially. And so the second half of that story is so I learned a shit ton about different projects that were in the space, but then at the same time a lot of the paper profits that I was making, it just vanished, right? Because I didn't have the wherewithal to know what to do with the money, right? And so exactly what Wayne was saying. Wayne, you have a lot of good quotes. He says, "Don't confuse good sailing with calm seas." But yeah, that's essentially what happened. And I knew that there was value, right? There was value in the ability to send money through it in a decentralized fashion where, banks weren't intermediaries in the system. And I guess when you learn more about the different projects that are available beyond Bitcoin, you see that this space does have a lot of more broad applications. And for me, that was kind of like I'm very interested in this, not necessarily for Bitcoin and not necessarily for Ethereum. You see the numbers go up, and then you jump in, right? You can buy whatever of the token because the number goes up and you're interested, right? Because that's usually, I don't think anybody got into e-gold in the 90s because that kind of collapsed on itself.
No.
Nobody trades, virtual currencies from video games because you can't pull them out, I guess, for the most part, right? Real world trading gets blocked. So I have a lot of experience like in a lot of like video games, just trading stuff. And so when I saw like the opportunity to do that with a decentralized system of like multiple different types of projects, I just thought, no, this is my bread and butter. I can do this. And so, yeah.
Look at you now. Got the bread and the butter.
Well, so here's the thing. Like it changed, right? It changed because then you realize, oh, money is like a plaything. Like it's supposed to be our time. but then it's also like it's probably better to do what you want to do, and then that changed my perspective on a lot of different things, right? That's why
weird?
it is.
Mhm.
Like I think it's a
Time equals money.
well,
It's bi-directional.
no, it doesn't. Well, I mean, it depends, right? Like
Mhm,
I
it
think
depends.
I think a person who once you get to a certain threshold of money or like having it and interacting with it from like a I work for money and then I use it to pay my bills. That's how you view it, right? At a time, like money is a
Mhm.
proxy for your work.
Mhm.
And then you realize that there's this whole other ecosystem of I can make money do things to like without having to work. Like it's not a direct relation to my physical input, the amount of things that I do, and I can
Yeah.
make money for that. Whenever you start making money, do other
Yeah.
things just because you have money, instead of just like paying bills or food, then you start to realize that it's something beyond that. It's a proxy for power in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
But when you have
Mhm.
an excess amount of it, you can then use that power to gain more power. And there's a bunch of different. It's like your experience with what it is and what it's for and what about it changes. And if I am right about what Jesse's saying, it really changes your perspective on what you should be doing with your time.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly what Wayne was saying in the chat as well. He's saying converting effort or time into money is one of the most inefficient ways to make money. I don't know what he means by 7 streams. Oh, okay, like 7. Okay, like
For those
we've
that are
had
wondering,
conversation.
or listening or watching from YouTube,
Mhm.
the patrons of the Bitcoin podcast get access to backstage of this stream. So they have like a direct conversation with us while we're
Yeah.
doing this.
That's only if you're a patron, though. You got to be a patron.
I don't think it's on that side, D.
You got to be a patron.
Go the other way.
No, we switched, bro.
You got to be.
Alicia's not paying
There it
attention.
is.
You got to
you're
be
right.
a patron.
Oh, you're right. There we go.
Oh,
God, it's
damn.
done.
Oh, fucking magic, bro! You gotta be a patron. You gotta be a patron. All right, cool. That was dope. I've been waiting to do that for years. Just didn't have the technology. We're there now. We did it. Look at us. Look at us.
Moving.
So for me, I get a little bit philosophical a lot of the times. And when I first found Bitcoin and I fell into it, I read the white paper. Corey showed me. I know just enough about math to fuck shit up, but not enough to be like, I don't know, the beautiful mind. And I read the white paper and I was like, okay, this is very feasible. I knew just enough about cryptography and foundations of algebra that like, oh, this is real shit. I'm a fan. And so I got fascinated with the other philosophical ideas of separating money and state. Like that's a big deal to me. And as I get older, I'm kind of fascinated with how a bunch of humans can group together, and then from that grouping comes organization, and then from that organization comes emergent properties like government, or emergent properties like communals or commissions or councils, and then all of a sudden you're fighting the thing that you birthed. So like now there's this never-ending battle of man as the individual versus the machines that man builds to keep himself in check, right? Like there's this never-ending battle of that. And since there's a never-ending battle, both sides have tools. And in crypto, for the first time in a very long time in the era that we live in, gave more tools and more ammo back to the individual. I think. I don't know if you've been listening to the show for the past 2 years. I do say a lot like I feel like we didn't give any tools to the individual. We just gave really shiny, awesome, diamond encrusted Call of Duty guns to the machines that we created to govern ourselves. But when it first started, I was like, okay, this is a beautiful way to separate money from the state. We don't need a Federal Reserve. We don't need systems like that to guide us. And sorry, I only put quotations on that, guide us and govern us. If we have a blockchain where we can audit ourselves and we can audit the things that we do from community to community. Why spend billions and billions of dollars every single year to make sure that this one system stays intact when we could spend a lot less and just use blockchains to verify things. So it's a very like, I don't know, lofty goal. And obviously now almost 8-9 years into this crypto shit, I see just how lofty and almost impossible that is. So
I'm still on that boat, kind of. My views are a bit different, but
you can't stop a human from humaning, Corey. And we have this really dangerous thing where we take the path of least resistance, and all we're gonna do is create new central entities to watch the central entity that is the blockchain. That's all we're gonna end up doing, and it's gonna be stupid and rhyme of what we do now, but that's probably gonna be the way things go. So
I disagree, but I would like to shift, because this is a kind of an audience like community thing we're going to do here, is brings patrons into the
Bring
show.
Wayne.
yeah.
Wayne, you want to come in?
Wait,
Say
should we
yes
do a
or no?
commercial? We got a commercial.
Oh, Alicia has a commercial. for
yeah,
you
we should
guys.
do the commercial. We have a commercial.
You
Yeah,
guys
so-
and gals.
Hold
Alicia,
up, we
The Bitcoin Podcast Store. Everything must go. Buy now. March 31st, 2021. Will be the last day.
yes.
That
Dang.
is funny.
Speaking of the store, how appropriate, Wayne.
Yeah, you can get
What's
shirts.
up?
You can get
Yeah.
shirts like
Can you
that.
get this? You can also get this.
Yes.
And you can also get this.
Oh my god.
That's top shelf GPP
Holy-
right there. Oh my god!
Right.
I can't believe we made some of this.
Oh
shit.
my god.
The beanbag is never going to be in my house.
It's never gonna be-
The boxer shorts, never going to be in my house.
You're not going to wear those? You're not going to wear those? These nuts?
Oh, did you?
Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I forgot we made a polo.
it was
That said
Huddle-
top
Huddle
shelf
Bees.
GPP.
That is a nice polo.
It is. I unboxed it, and even my wife said, "Oh, that's a nice polo. What's it say?" That's a GPP question.
How did you explain that to her?
Well, I've involved her into my crypto. She was part of my crypto adoption a long time ago as well. So being able to explain acronyms quickly is something that we've done for decades now. So
Good. Well, what do you want to talk to, Wayne? Man, like we, there's a lot happening in crypto all the time nowadays. It's definitely not follow one Reddit subreddit and you got it all. But if there's anyone that I've met in this entire space that can consume all 1,000 inputs of crypto media and information and websites, it is this man right here who constantly
multitasking all the time, and there's just not enough time. I think somebody put in the Slack just a little bit ago, there's so much crypto and not enough time.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
And kudos to this entire environment. Alicia,
Somebody put in
this
the
is
where? Wayne?
amazing.
Put in the
Alicia
where?
put in. Look at that.
In the
Holy-
Slack?
I think they put it in the Slack. I think.
This is so good. And
don't know.
it's not just good because of how bad it was before. It's legit good.
It's not good because of how bad it was.
Okay, so I think I'm the only one who attended almost every one of Dee and Jesse's let's break this down, let's do
Yeah.
the code, let's read the
Wayne
white paper.
is the ultimate.
I,
Wayne is the ultimate.
when I'm
Bitcoin podcast
cooking,
community
I've
member.
and usually it's they were doing their thing while it was time to cook. So it's like, well, I'll just have that on, and the audio was so bad, and the echo is like, can you please learn this? And then you guys got clubhouse level. You guys are at the point where this is so pro. That's good.
Well, that's good.
Kudos to StreamYard, right?
Kudos to StreamYard.
StreamYard has made a wonderful platform.
I coded this. You know that, Wayne. You listened to me learn how to code.
It's D's yard. We're in D's yard right
D's
now.
yard. This is definitely Stream D.
Sure. So StreamYard gets a new bar, but it still takes a ton of work. Just like OBS is a ton of work.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Slack. Setting up a Slack is a ton of work. Setting up a WordPress site is a ton of work. No matter how easy the platforms make things, and this goes back to what you said, D, of, hey, now we have a blockchain and are we going to have a centralized watchdog for a decentralized world? It's still, in order to be different, you still have to put in a delta of effort in order to be better.
Well, I agree. I mean, it's the same thing we said at the beginning of this episode, and what we've said throughout the entire time of countless times throughout all the episodes we've ever done is we've always recommended if people want to do something, they should just go do it. And this podcast is a testament to us just going and doing something and then getting better at it over time. Like literally, the management of this of this podcast was in a Facebook Messenger group. You had to go to Facebook. We didn't use Messenger. We actually just had the little tab at the bottom right of your screen, and it was me, D, and Cello who did everything, every single thing that happened with an episode, planning, brainstorming, whatever happened in a Messenger. And then did we use Google Hangouts in the beginning?
We tried for like a week, and that went away fast.
No,
what we would do is like
Skype. We used Skype in the beginning.
Remember, we got really slick with it.
I remember Skype.
We would put like an asterisk if something was important. So when we scrolled up, up in the Messenger,
like a process of like how to figure out how to discern between D and Cello talking about Pokemon cards and when the
how
guest
dare
was
you,
supposed
sir?
to come on.
Magic the Gathering, how dare
whatever,
you?
Right? They did like everything went in that channel, and then finally, slowly but surely, we figured out how to let's use Trello to like manage guests. And I had to sell them on that for a long time of like building a board of managing the process of contacting, connecting, scheduling, performing, publishing, like that. So we had that became a part of the back end of managing a podcast. Then we leveled up the Slack, and that was a private thing that we did for like, okay, not every single thing that we say as a group has to go in the same Facebook group. Let's have like contextualize. Yeah, over there. Contextualize channels for conversations so that when we want to get back to a conversation, we know where to go. That then became the awesome community that it is today. And like just that type of thing. But like it wouldn't have started if we just didn't just start recording something and figure it out. And then it sucked for a while. And this is going to be probably the next version of that. It's like, it's going to suck for a while.
This is going to suck for a while.
Better at it.
But we're going to get really good.
It's fun. Like it's always been fun, right? We just did it. We did enough to make it fun.
So let's move away from us. This has been quite an origin story. We've been talking about ourselves for almost an hour. It always gets awkward when you're talking about yourself. Let's talk about some bona fide crypto stuff. Let's do it.
The origin story of crypto.
So I am Satoshi Nakamoto. For everyone who just Googled Bitcoin and you're like, who's this Satoshi Nakamoto guy? It's me. I love anime and manga when I was a kid. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make my Japanese name. I'm gonna roll with it. And it's fucking crazy, right? So no. We're not gonna talk about the origins of Bitcoin. Do we need to? I feel like we do a shittier story than the internet would explaining that. But there was this guy or people named Satoshi Nakamoto. He said, hey, I made this digital currency. I think it's called Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer digital currency system, a digital cash system. Digital cash system. And he released a white paper. For those of you that don't know what a white paper is, you're probably less than 10 years old. But for those of you that do,
that is not true.
Really? No, it's 15, 18.
I wouldn't understand. I never even heard the term white paper until I read Bitcoin, the Bitcoin paper.
Why you put me on the spot?
That
Cody?
is strange. I would not have expected that.
Well, we just call them articles. because
You're a
they're
scientist.
We call it-
We call
Oh,
them
you just call
peer-reviewed
them
journal
articles? You don't call them white papers?
No, because
Well,
white paper is not
scientists don't
peer-reviewed.
do the white papers. It's really a technology thing that was white paper, I think.
Really.
Yeah.
I don't know
White
anything about
papers,
it.
red books from IBM.
Oh yeah. That was lost on me.
You know how many white papers I read in 2017? Jesus Christ. I'm so glad we don't have to do that.
But that was
You know
for
how
ICO, right? That's still after
Good
his point. You're not helping his point. His point is he didn't hear about white paper until it was the Bitcoin white paper,
True that.
right?
And so I think Hal Finney's the first person who was like, yeah, I'm going to try this Bitcoin stuff out.
The first transaction
Yeah.
when Bitcoin was from Satoshi to Hal Finney.
Right.
No, that's not true. The first transaction was from Satoshi to himself, sending himself all those
well,
Coinbases for mining.
If you're counting a reward, a block
know.
reward as a transaction, then that's incorrect.
You can't do that?
The miner reward isn't a transaction.
Why do they call it the Coinbase?
The
Coinbase.
Coinbase.
Coinbase. Sorry. Oh, I'm getting learned. This isn't, teach an old dog new tricks.
Let's walk through the white paper.
No, we're not going to do that. We can't do that. There's not enough time.
It's already been done.
We're not going to go into all that. Let's fast forward the clock. Nobody needs to know that. Just like, they just don't. Now we're here today where we have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, we have all the rest. Litecoin, Namecoin, OneCoin. Are there still colored coins hanging out?
Namecoin and OneCoin are doing. OneCoin.
OneCoin's terrible.
Is this going on?
OneCoin was the scam. Namecoin is still a
OneCoin was a
thing.
scam. We interviewed Jamie Bartlett of that did the whole NPR series on OneCoin, which for some reason I had never heard of until I listened to that episode, that series.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's part of it. Wayne, thank you for reminding me. He just reminded me in the chat. We had a Bitcoin
chatting while he's in the show.
That actually is Satoshi Nakamoto right there.
That is
nobody can find him.
Satoshi Nakamoto.
He's there. He's there. Nobody can find him. He disappeared. And you can see his disgruntled face with the state of things. Sorry. There's a long story behind that.
Part of the network is we tried to make a network.
Yeah, so we had a bunch of podcasts. At one point, we had 10 different podcasts, all running through the same podcast feed, and we would all finesse it
to make them different feeds.
Yeah. We were like, "Wait a second! Like, how many podcasts do you have on the Bitcoin podcast?" And we were like, 10. Just roll with it, baby. And so that was interesting. We tried. What ended up happening is that turned into management for me and Corey, and we were like, "What? Oh, we have a book." Wayne's holding our book.
A bunch of things.
That's what we're saying.
Not a bunch of things.
Just take one step at a time and just figure it out.
This is going to be a long show. Wayne's going to have more and more stuff.
Wayne knows more about us than we do.
Yep. Yeah.
Dang, the Book of Satoshi.
Definitely.
You need this if you want origin story. You need this if you want to understand the evolution of how the Bitcoin podcast engaged its adoption message with the hundreds of hosts that they've had so far.
Yeah.
This is the origin story, especially if you go in order, right?
Yeah.
This isn't necessarily in order. It's in alphabetical order, I think.
Yeah.
But that speaks, and it helps the show, right? You
Definitely.
guys still have that?
And hopefully we'll get around to volume 2 someday if we ever figure out how to organize and get that volume 2 out.
Kellogg was a graphic designer, so he's like, "Hey, I made a book in my spare time." We're like, "We did what?"
Yeah, it was pretty dope.
Like, yeah, I made a book, and so he compiled every episode that we've ever done. If this is the first time listening, that has an interview with it. We've asked the guests, "Can you describe Bitcoin?" And then that expanded to blockchain or Ethereum in 10 words or less. And the book is called "Can You Describe Bitcoin, Ethereum, Blockchain in 10 words or less?" And the goal of that, and we always wanted like a hook, right? Something we do every episode. But we didn't we don't want the show to be too kitschy. But the goal of that was like always awesome because it distilled what the guests thought about the technology in a very few words. So everyone, when you say like, "Hey, can you describe Bitcoin?" and you say like, they're like, "Yeah, give me an hour." And we can
Give me a podcast.
Give me a podcast. Then we can maybe talk about it. And then you might get an idea. And then at the end of that, they're like, what? And so like forcing them to use less than 10 words, force them to like get to the core of why they thought it was important in a lot of ways. Or like the ultimate nugget of how they viewed things. And then watching that, like first off, watching the variance of answers from all the different people we interviewed, because we've interviewed like call girls to industry leaders across the board, and like watching the variance of how they viewed the technology, and then watching how that kind of average changed over time as it got more popular and changed and got better or more adopted or whatever, so on and so forth. So like the answers you get today, maybe 1 out of 15 or close to the same as what you'd get back then.
They're a lot better. They're like 7 words or less. Bitcoin is money. Bitcoin is money for robots. I think we had crystallized robot sweat, which was a really good one.
Robot sweat.
That was a really good one. A way for people to move money without a third party. That was a good one. It might not be the same 5 years from now. But, it's a good way to see. And that's one thing that I remember, because we used to we would make a question spreadsheet. Here's questions Corey's going to ask, questions I'm going to ask, questions Joe's going to ask. And at the bottom, I just put, we need to see if people can Dr. Seuss this tech. Because if they can't Dr. Seuss this tech, then it's never going anywhere. Right. And so at the time, I wanted to see if anyone could Dr. Seuss it. And now I feel like we've finally gotten to that point where people are Dr. Seussing it. It's short, it's sweet, it's simple, and it sticks.
Is Jesse's screen frozen or he's just a robot?
No,
Jesse,
really quiet.
Yeah, I'm just listening.
Yeah, there's a 70-30 chance that Jesse is a part of the Terminator franchise's timeline.
Oh my god!
He's very robotic sometimes. He's very. No, I'm kidding. So anyways,
we've had a lot of experiences. We've done a lot. I mean, we tried to do Artemir or whatever. That was so dumb. Can't believe we wasted so much time.
We tried
doing
to
that.
make a fight. We tried to make a fight app, a UFC fight app.
Yeah,
for a long time. We're like
My Fighter, dude. That was good.
My Fighter is a good name. Oh yeah, the Make It Rain app.
We had some good. My Fighter is a great idea. Make It Rain is an idea. Artemir is a world changing idea.
Oh god,
it's a world changer.
I wanted to make Timecoin, which was like how did I phrase it? I've had all kinds of ideas over the years.
You know what's funny though, Corey? Is all that has distilled down to Bitcoin Corey's vision. It's the only.
Oh yeah, so we made Bitcoin Corey's vision NFTs. I have minted 1,000 of them. We don't know what to do with them yet.
Did you really?
Oh, there are 1,000 Bitcoin
Corey's vision.
I can add additional details to them, so we can make like tiers of Bitcoin Corey's vision.
Yeah,
but there can only be 1,000 of whatever we make. Period. So we can do like founders tier, GPP tier, whatever. We can add different visuals to each of these tiers and then descriptions and titles and stuff. But like, there's only 1,000 of them.
I feel like we should make one that's just like a handful of them, like maybe 10, and then just give them one to each one of us, including Wayne and everybody who's helping. Daniel, Alicia, Andy. That'd be cool, just like as a memento.
Okay, we'll discuss that. It's like what are some good ideas? That's kind of like what are some ideas on what we can do with 1,000? So Joe gets one. Joe Blau, because he told me to do it, and I did.
Oh, really? Okay,
that was him. So like he should probably get whatever it is, because
the whole community, whoever is is interacting with us on a daily basis, like we just hand them out, because like without everybody who's active, we wouldn't have been able to get all this far. It's crazy.
Oh, for real. Yeah, the community, the active community that exists today, gets whatever it is that's the more scarce version of BCV, which is going to be the greatest thing of all time.
Yeah. When you say
you're
community,
gonna show
like
your grandkids.
when you
whatever
say
the hell.
community, most times communities have like a central place where they can gather and stuff, where they're gonna have like barbecues and be communal. What would you call that place?
Joe's Island.
But what would you call that?
Oh my God.
I think you call it Slack. Yeah, go to the bitcoinpodcast.com, join the Slack. You'll get educated. You might even get a fucking job. You might make some money. There's a lot that goes on in there. You know why?
There have been a good number of people who have joined the Slack, participated, asked questions, and gotten jobs from the connections they've made inside.
These are facts, these are facts, when you join the bitcoinpodcast.com, go to bitcoinpodcast.com, join the Slack, you'll be a part of our network.
Also, there have been, I think, maybe two people who have been booted from the Slack.
I remember one.
I don't use it's actually the same person, but it was
two
literally
avatars.
the same person, just different instances of the same human.
That means we moderate, and we don't. We're not about that
pretty
crazy stuff.
My banhammer isn't very strong, but
yeah,
you break some rules.
It doesn't come out often, but it is strong.
I like your style, Wayne.
You could be a personal life coach, Wayne. You just make people feel so good about themselves. That should be your side gig.
Here's what not to do with your life.
Yeah, you should.
I make people feel real good about themselves. My choices don't seem that bad. Have you met?
Yeah.
Top shelf GPP, man.
Yeah. Top shelf.
The funny thing is you're gonna have to explain that.
It would typically told it would be payroll.
What is on the microphone to your right?
What are you talking about?
It's like a 3D printed thing. Is that
it looks like the boomstick on your microphone to the right.
This one?
Yeah,
talking about mine, or
it looks like it's made of
yours? Yeah,
aluminum
yours,
foil.
Wayne.
No, it's just a pop filter.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the other part.
So you don't hear the microphone moving whenever he moves it.
Because he's not using that microphone. He's using his
Because
headset.
I'm using this one.
Yeah.
He has 18 microphones.
mute
around.
myself.
You don't know.
Yeah.
And 3 cameras and headphones.
Live.
Dude, Wayne,
Which microphone am I using?
hold on. I should show you guys my setup.
Oh,
no.
shit. Are we going to cut to the roundtable, or are we doing something different?
No.
Or cut to the interview, or we're doing something different with this?
Interview? This is it.
Yeah, there's no interview here. So one of the things I keep saying in this episode, you've heard me say it, is this natural centralization of things. And I think it's occurring right underneath us, Corey, Jesse, Wayne. Like, I see that not a Grayscale keeps buying crypto like it's going out of style. Like, eventually they're gonna be a market in and of themselves because they have so much crypto, right? They're making
It's a one-way trust, so it's set up that way.
Yeah,
it can only consume. It doesn't. The Grayscale trust only is one way, and then people buy shares
of the
that
Grayscale trust.
Yeah.
Right.
So the Grayscale is a ever-growing entity.
Yeah. So for it's very large. Like Barry Silbert is probably crazy rich right now, and sorry, I don't even want to think about it. But nevertheless, I was saying this 2 weeks ago on the show, and I was like, what wealthy people do, not rich people, because there's a difference there. And I don't want to sound like a rapper, but wealthy and rich, there's two different things. All right. What wealthy people do is get a big old mountain of a thing they think is going to be valuable someday, and then start and just set it there and let it not move, prove that they own it, and then make value off of a bunch of shit that they invent that the person who's not wealthy, starts buying. Or they go talk to politicians and put some legalese in the way that the way you live your everyday life is actually leeching off of that mountain of wealth that they have, right? And so that's what Grayscale Bitcoin is doing. They're like, I'm going to keep building this giant mountain of wealth, and you're not going to get my wealth, but you're going to get this little piece of paper that says that you have access to like a flavor of my wealth. And that's what you get with GBTC. You get I think every share of GBTC is it 100? 100 or
it's a little bit more than 1/1000th. So it's less than 1/1000th. So if you split a Bitcoin into a little bit more than 1,000 pieces, that is what each share is currently worth.
Yeah.
And so it represents that much, that they guarantee that there's going to be that much. And accredited investors can buy direct. They can invest direct, and then they fund it, and then they have a vesting period for how long they get the shares. So that's what does the premium that people talk about and complain about.
Interesting. Just go buy Bitcoin. Now you said accredited, so like
Well, no. So the problem is you can't just go buy Bitcoin if you don't know how to do your own keys. If you're not tech savvy, if you don't,
Coinbase is pretty easy these days.
that's not your own.
It's
You
not
said
your own.
crypto.
I would call
right?
it a closer version of your own than Grayscale is.
Sure, it is because both of them have legal structures to ensure that the customer still gets their fair share, so to speak. What is counterparty to risk to them? But one of the biggest differences is with Grayscale, you can have access. You can use tax-advantaged accounts in order to be able to participate.
That's most definitely the big one, is the ability to incorporate it into your standard investment portfolio.
Yeah.
As you can't do yet, that I'm aware of.
You can. Yeah, there's ways to associate an IRA, and I think you guys had them on your podcast, where you can set up an IRA for retirement.
Oh, you're talking about Bitwage, who you can set up a Bitcoin 401k with Bitwage. Speaking of which, this episode is brought to you by Bitwage. Go to bitwage.co and
see how fast Alicia is with the images on the top right.
It's not. It's definitely
you can't
not.
Handle your random endorsements.
No one can hang in this. No one can.
No one sees the random snowflakes coming
in. We should get sponsored by Bitwage. Fuck, we interviewed him 3 times. He loves us. Hey, if you're not watching, sponsor us, Bitwage guy.
There is a very real possibility that we can put your icon on the top right of our screen, and Dee will point at it and say your name.
Wayne will join in too.
Yeah, we'll all point it, but Dee's going to touch it.
Okay.
So Grayscale, you were talking about Grayscale.
Yes,
being
Grayscale.
too rich and you don't like it.
It's not that I don't like it. I'm fine with it. Make as much money as you want to in the system that's provided, right?
I think you're getting at it like it's all going to go into becoming like.
What's the point?
The old infrastructure centralized.
What I'm saying is that. Go ahead, Jesse. Go ahead.
Is that what you're trying to say? I'm just like that decentralization is going to basically go away, and we're going to have centralized old, similar infrastructure, centralized crypto.
This episode is brought to you by Bitwage. Get your wage on, get your bid on, both at the same time, baby. You trying to retire? Huh?
Small origin story. Hit like throwback. Dogs.
Yeah. I believe I know what Corey's going to say because we're kindred spirits. I used to make jingles for every sponsor that we had on the spot. But during they were like, hey, we got a sponsor. I'd be like, word? All right, what's their name? All right, I'm making a jingle. And that would be that. And then we started selling it. We sold it as and you're going to get a custom jingle that he makes up.
I just realized something. We can use Rarible and you could do custom jingles and sell the MP3 track as an NFT. That's what we could do.
Look at us.
For a patron tier, you could do their voicemail. Like NPR does voicemails for people.
Yeah.
I can make a fucking jingle for Bitwage right now off the dome. Let's see if I can do this. You're headed towards retirement. It's coming around the corner. All your friends have it saved. You'll sound like a sage because you went with Bitwage. I can't rap, but I can make a fucking jingle. All right. So anyways, what was I gonna say? We were still talking.
We should charge for that.
We should. I'm good with it.
Until they pay us.
Any brand.
We get random icons on the top right of this episode from the rest.
Any brand.
This episode brought to you by Godzilla.
Hold up, guys.
Godzilla, get at it.
Wayne, I know you don't like when I say things like this, but my pants are getting tight. For the first time of a live stream, we just had 10 viewers. We had double-digit viewers for the first time on our YouTube ever, and they just went away, and they're gone now. But we had double-digit viewers, so I was going to put this up and be real timely. Please share, subscribe, follow, and review our show. So we can, ding the bell. Ding it.
Dang.
I missed it. But anyways, let's go back there.
It's awful.
So what I'm saying is like we're not necessarily changing much except for repeating the same things that history says. Like history rhymes. That's the old saying. Was it? Hold on. Let me use my Negro Dama's voice. History doesn't repeat, but history sure does rhyme. All right. And that's what we're going to do. All your GPTCs, everyone who's buying crypto by mountain loads right now is going to find some legal way or some programmatic way for everyone who didn't get in on it to use a derivative of their wealth. Negro Damas. Buckets, baby. Hold on. Where's that sign that says prove me wrong? Chef. Prove me
Change my mind.
wrong. Change my mind.
Why do you say that?
There's two. So one of the things you guys said earlier is that money equals time. If you have more money, you can buy yourself more time. And as it starts compounding, your time compounds, right? So wealthy people have the benefit of having a lot of time, so they can get ahead of curves. And there's something that I said to anyone who listens to the gibbity goop, garbledygop that I spout on Facebook, and that is what wealthy people do is figure out that you're supposed to go right about 500 miles before everyone else. And then when everyone is getting 250 miles from that point, they say, hey, you're supposed to go left. And everybody starts going left. Meanwhile, they're paving the roads to the right. They're putting up tolls. They're putting up neighborhoods. They're putting up things people can use. They're developing that property, baby. And then when everybody who's been going left for years figures out, oh, damn, I was supposed to be going right. Let me turn around and go right now. Well, guess what? Now you got to pay the troll toll, baby. You got to pay the healthy man's troll toll on his developed land and his developed roads and his developed neighborhoods and everything. And that's just the way that it goes. So I think that every single time Warren Buffett gets on stage and he's like, Bitcoin is trash, that old motherfucker knows that one of his company owns a bunch of Bitcoin. One of his companies owns a bunch of crypto, and he's not even worried because the land's already being developed. He doesn't care. He's just buying himself more time for the people that don't have time and that aren't going to figure out that they need to be going right.
So part of that first off, like traditionally speaking, I agree with that. What I care about with respect to this technology, and there's a very non-zero chance the dogs are going to start barking in the middle of this conversation, so I'm going to try and get it out, is that, yeah, they're going to do that. People are going to do that because that's what people do. Like if there is a desire to get at a specific thing, people who understand that early are going to build those roads and take a fee in the process of facilitating getting that thing. And in the past, when people did that, you didn't have a choice. You just had to use the roads they built. But what we've done with networks like Bitcoin, motherfucker.
Look at you, man. You need to go to Vegas.
So while we wait for him, so D, let me ask you, let's say somebody mined Litecoin really early at a low price and then sold it for a lot more later. Isn't that the same thing?
Same thing as?
Same thing as being early and having a benefit that someone else doesn't have.
That's very true. But now you've only increased your benefit in, I guess, the traditional, or what do they say, incumbent system. You haven't done anything in the new system. And what I think Barry Silbert and the like, and even Elon Musk's company now, because they have so many billions and all these companies, and now they have the money to blow to create a unit or a department to figure out how to build and pave those roads and build those neighborhoods and build those tolls in the new system while everyone's still focused on the old one, right? I mean, there's things happening right now that they happen so slowly, but they're happening fast when you zoom out on time. That does anybody, like, I read the article just this morning while I was eating my cereals that China's economy created 200 billionaires last year. 200 billionaires in China were created last year. That's a lot of money. But all that says to me is that, like, oh, dollars really aren't going to mean that much 50, 75 years
20 to
from now.
30% of all the M1 money supply that's ever been made was printed in the last year as well. So you're going to get, just like the pinball machines went from 100 is really, really high to 20,000 million is really, really high. the term millionaire and billionaire is going to lose its luster.
Yeah, it's
So-
gonna lose its funk.
So make it not just relatable, but make it applicable to what does the 200 billion mean? Does it just mean there was much more money, so there's going to be more billionaires? Or does it mean that there were literally that many more people to distribute the billionaire title to?
I don't know. I think either way, either way, it seems that the dollar is gonna not be that big of a deal. Like this century, right? There's gonna be something that usurps it, something that's, and when I say big deal, Jesse, I'm talking about store of value, or not store of value, because those are gimmicky terms nowadays. It's weird that economy is gimmicky. Thank you, crypto. But
Well, we're so much more knowledgeable about the function of money thanks to crypto. Without crypto, you don't care about what a unit of account is, a system of currency, the monetary pieces,
yeah.
the M1, M2, M3. These are terms that only really, really deep dive geek money people and really cared about. But now, I would
Everybody
say the
knows them.
awareness has expanded, and therefore we're better off for that.
Very true.
I agree with that. What I was going to say before the dogs rudely interrupted me again was that like all of those
Fucking
things
dogs.
dogs. Don't buy dogs. If you want to do podcast episodes, don't have dogs or friends. The difference that happens now is that like in the previous iterations of, hey, this is valuable, people don't understand it yet, let's build roads and charge people for them. You didn't have a choice to not use the roads that they built. Now you do. And when the foundation is a equitable system for value transfer, which is what these blockchain networks actually are, then it's much, much, much harder to build something on top of it that demands you use their system. All they're doing is providing a further level of convenience in a lot of ways. But for those who don't like what they're doing, they can always choose to leave the system and use the foundational level, which is something we've never had before.
Mhm.
And that's like the, in my opinion, the most important thing, is because when people start acting up, you can actually exit the system.
Yeah.
And you can't have this like slow shift towards ultimate control and taking advantage of those who have no other options, because there's no other way to do it.
Rent
You have a
seeking
check.
becomes a lot harder if everyone is more educated about how the system works,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And so like people start complaining like, hey, we learned how to like, well, Coinbase is a wonderful system. It's a great example for this type of thing. And the extent that they become evil in some future version of Coinbase, right? It's like in some world where like people learned how to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or other cryptocurrency by signing up with Coinbase and using it, which is a custodial system, meaning they hold the keys. So it's not really your coins. And they're like, hey, I don't like that they as a company, Coinbase, made this decision. But I don't really know what's going on. Someone can be like, hey, let me show you how to take your money off of Coinbase and use the exact same thing
Mhm.
on the foundational system, because they're just a custodian. It's
Okay.
like, here's another set of roads that you didn't know existed that cannot be changed, that cannot be altered by a small group of people. Use those instead. It may be a little more difficult to get to, or like you need to do a little more learning to understand the responsibilities of using these roads, but they're always going to be there, and you can't stop that, which is like the greatest thing ever. Or, oh, you don't like that? Well, there's another service that built on top of Bitcoin that's just as convenient, and they didn't do that. Use that instead. And there's no like, and the facilitation of taking your money from Coinbase. And once again, I love Coinbase. They're not bad. It's just an example. Taking your money from Coinbase and moving it to their system is
Coinbase.
easy. It's the same thing. And that's the whole point, is that people cannot build the roads and force people to use them.
These are facts. But here's the thing that you missed, that I believe you underestimate, Corey, and I think you should start estimating it appropriately. People don't use roads because they have to. They use them out of convenience.
Oh, yeah, I agree. That's a big part of it. Until they get mad.
If I needed to get to work right now, I could take an A to B point, but there's going to be some upset houses. There's going to be some upset. There's going to be upset businesses. I might die. So people take roads out of convenience.
What you're talking about is like almost like ossification, right? Like, as something becomes the standard way to do things, people build off of that. That makes it more difficult to do something else. Because you can't do all those other things that are built off of it.
Yeah.
Do you think Bitcoin has reached a level in terms of adoption where it has essentially ossified itself as one of the major pathways?
No.
I don't think so yet.
I don't think so. Sometimes, though, I just do like to pet it. You know.
Well, I think that's
Bitcoin.
similar to what we were talking about in the Slack last week about Ethereum enabling DeFi. Ethereum price has gone up, the congestion is high, the gas fees are high, and so now all the little shops on the super highway that's known as Ethereum, there's a bunch there, but it's expensive to get to it. So someone built another highway, BNB, someone built another highway, Atom, someone built another highway, Avalanche, and so it's cheaper to go build your stores on those super highways in the meantime, and it's another exit, it's another explosion of innovation.
I mean, I think it's like these are all communities in a lot of ways. Like that's kind of the main thing that's what's most fundamental about blockchain networks is the people that use them. Like the only thing that gives Bitcoin value is the fact that people use it and they're willing to exchange it. And so that community that decides that Bitcoin is the thing they want to use for transfer of value gives it value. If those people weren't there, Bitcoin would not have value. And so you end up building I think it's more reasonable to think about all of this in terms of like communities interacting with each other. Ethereum and bridges are just like a way to overlap communities or transfer value from one community to another. And that's an interesting part about it in a lot of ways that I find that I'm recently fascinated about is that we're now able to take value derived in one community and remove it and take it to a different community and give it and you have like a one-to-one mapping of that value. And that's interesting. Maybe not. You have options and kind of the mapping of that value. It can be one-to-one. So you can actually remove value from one community and take it to another one. It's no longer in the previous one.
I want to ask something. So do you think that there will be premier chains like Bitcoin because it's so shitty? Do you think it will have this like my shit on Bitcoin or my shit on Ethereum, even though the gas fees are so expensive, or say the hash rate and the mempool jacks up Bitcoin fees? Do you think that there's still going to be this idea, or not still, but there will be this idea that my stuff is better? Like, say you have an NFT on Ethereum versus an NFT on Wax.
Sure, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, man. We're humans.
My shit's on NFT. It's on Ethereum. It's way better than yours.
I'm curious to see what the social dynamics are of this. And
the tribalism.
Well, that's with anything. I mean, someone will say, "Hey, I'm on YouTube versus Clubhouse versus Twitch versus DLive. I'm on Apple versus Android. You know, I'm on CBS versus ABC versus MTV. I mean, there's always going to be a segregation because attention is limited.
Yeah, and like the communities associated with viewing that content and the attention is different. How a community views a specific piece of content, whether or not the content is the exact same, is different.
Yeah. How they cater.
And like Jesse, because humanity is the dumbest smart animal on the planet. Like we're like even cavemen were probably like, you know what's dope is I got red rocks. And then caveman B was like, yeah, but how?
Bitcoin red.
Yeah, Bitcoin red. There's colored Bitcoin. So like caveman B is like, yeah, but how though? I just have regular colored rocks. My rocks I picked from over there. It's like, yeah, but mine are red. Get on my level. So, you know, like that's just the way we do things. Like there's no difference between a Toyota Avalon and a Lexus. Same guts, same everything.
You know,
the only thing that makes it different is us.
In video games, there's this idea that somebody actually looked in the game code in terms of how new an item that is labeled, say, factory new. So they have wear types of, like, let's say guns in Counter-Strike, right? So there are designations between factory new, which is the most pristine condition. You have minimal wear, and then you have all the way down to battle scarred, which is the worst, right? So you have 5 different wear types. Now, amongst the factory new, you have this idea that each of the factory news is not alike. They all have unique floats, where the lower the float value, the more pristine the actual gun condition. So I think we're probably going to see something similar to that in terms of my stuff. My NFT is parked, is like, it meets the criteria of it's made by the original creator, even if they made some duplicate of this item that, you know, further down the road. Mine is higher up the blockchain than yours. Mine is on Ethereum. Mine is like, and so I think you're going to have these different qualities. Like, everybody's going to become like an NFT assessor potentially, in terms of like what is most valuable or more valuable than another thing. Whereas you have multiple copies of the same thing, one will inherently have more value because of where it is, what time it was made. And so these are going to be just, I think I'm going to get more into the NFT space, but I think these are going to be factors that will be valued in the future.
Yeah. So I can't really read that, Alicia, but
Is that
please
the
explain it.
my trusted tyrant, their despot comparison?
I think it might be. She's gonna give us some comment. Hold on, let me look at the
similar.
email. Oh wait, guys, people been talking to us. These guys are amazing. I don't know who Keeves is, but I love you instantaneously. I'll break bread with you.
I'm gonna let you guys wrap up. I'm gonna take off. Thank you for inviting me. Join the Patreon for anyone else who wants to really kind of get some elite access to D's tight pants. Please make sure you join the Patreon group. And I'm going to take off so you guys can wrap up. And Thanks again.
Thanks, Wayne.
And the link to the Patreon is in the show notes. Maybe, I don't know if we do stuff like that, but I'm gonna have faith in the people. This is the link to the Patreon is down there, over there. It's somewhere.
I'm just gonna say things that are gonna be done and hope that it gets done. If it doesn't, then whatever, it's fine.
All right. So, you know, thank you guys. I think we can wrap, right? It's been a pretty lengthy episode. Pretty good for us.
Yep.
You know, so thank you guys for tuning in that came live. We had probably one of the best live shows we've ever done. I'm really excited about this. As you know, if you want to join the Patreon, go to the patreon.com and search for the Bitcoin Podcast, and you will find us. We have several tiers of patronage. Patronage, is it patronage or patronage? I say patronage because I'm fucking fancy and I use Premier blockchains, bitches. Sorry, excuse my language, Dad and Mom.
That could be a thing, you know? Premier blockchain.
Definitely.
Like, I use Premier.
Since I use Premier blockchain technology, my patronage. Imagine if I talk like that every day. I'll have a McDouble, please. Excuse me. What's the difference between a McDouble and a double cheeseburger? Oh, an extra slice of cheese, you say? I'll take that.
Oh, man.
Join the Slack. No, the BitcoinPodcast.com. Join the Slack. I know what you're thinking to yourself. I'm asked to join so many things and do so many things. Well, you know, stop being a bitch. Okay, so when you join the Slack, you get introduced into the Bitcoin Podcast Network. It's a community of brilliant thinkers, brilliant actors. People in there have gotten really great positions in crypto companies. If you're looking to make a change and you're looking to learn about crypto really fast at a level of depth and breadth that affords you the opportunity to go to a crypto company and say, hey, I want to work with you and be a part of those communities that Corey's talking about, where you get it on that ground floor. All of a sudden you're given tens of thousands of tokens in a program. And then next thing you know, hashtag this isn't investment advice. Yeah, next thing you know, you're like, holy shit, I have a lot of dollars. This is crazy, right? This has happened several times in our Slack community, and it's happening every year, easily. Not only that, you'll learn about Bitcoin, you'll learn about Ethereum, you'll learn about Doge. Why do you want to learn about Doge?
Got some upgrades.
Jesus Christ. Who's working on Doge? Because I know it's not Jackson
don't know.
Palmer.
I don't know.
I know
It's
for
not
a
him.
fact it ain't him. But anyways, you'll
Yeah,
learn
look into
about
that.
Doge.
I guarantee no one's working on it, but I'm
I'm
curious to see.
Someone just asked for the Wakanda accent. Hold up.
On
Let me see if I can bring it back. All right. I can't even remember that accent. Hold up.
Generic black.
Yeah.
Generic African.
Generic.
Like that was what he did, right? Like was there he didn't pull it from any specific place. It was just
No,
like,
he just
it's
did
an African
very-
accent.
It is very generic African accent. No, I can't do it. You put me on the spot, Andy Meows.
No, you can do it. I know you
I've done it
nail
before.
every single time.
Nah, I'll have to do it next time. It's just not hitting me. You caught me on the spot, and I couldn't do it.
They go practice for a week. come back with a
Yeah.
heart.
This is you can join the bitcoinpodcast.com Slack if you would like. Yes, that's good. That's as close as I'm gonna get tonight. What else do we do, Corey? We've got a book, right? Which you can't. Yeah, you can't get the book anymore. So yeah, those are
physical NFTs.
That's a real NFT that you can't get
fungible,
anymore.
I guess. Those are physical fungible tokens for the first false subtotal supply.
On Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rating. If you're listening to this for the first time, we know there's about 3,000 of you that are listening to our show for the first time this week. Why don't you go ahead and leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts? And then next week, we'll actually get into some crypto content and not just an origin story of us, but every once in a while, we got to check in with who we are, right? It's deep. It's like a Michael Jackson song from the early 80s. I think I'm giving the shout outs now. We're good.
Before you did that, I was immediately informed that I was wrong about the generic African accent that wasn't real. Apparently,
Chadwick.
studied
Yep.
some South
Yes.
African accent.
I don't want to do an African accent because there's a chance my sister-in-law is watching this and she is African. So I'm not sure. I don't want that drama right now.
Would it be bad for you to misrepresent an African accent in the process of trying to do the Wakandan accent?
I'll do a Wakandan accent right now if you do an Irish accent. And Jesse, you're good. You don't have to participate.
Okay. Thanks.
I
I don't know how to do that.
In your face, you were like, "I don't want any part of this. I don't want any part of this."
It's always like every time I pull for an Irish accent, it's always like it's so leprechaun.
It's Scottish, in it.
Well, Scottish and Irish are very different. But like whenever I think about an Irish one, it's always it's melodic and it's very like you feel like you're watching the Lucky Charm, right?
Yeah. They always go up at the end of a
Oh,
sentence.
don't you know?
Yeah.
Gotta
Like,
to
would
the
you like
store
a
today.
grilled
It's like-
cheese
it's like
sandwich and some tomato sauce?
yeah, that's
You
Scottish.
gotta go up
You've
at the
got
end of the
Scottish.
sentence.
You've got full Scottish there.
Scottish.
Yeah.
As long as you go up, it doesn't really matter, does it?
No, it's like it's the inflection, like how you pronounce certain variables, consonants and vowels is different for Scottish than it is for Irish.
All right.
And I think the melody's a bit different too. My buddy, who's actually upstairs just when my dogs are barking, goes to Scotland a lot. He's Scottish heritage, so he schooled me on the Scottish versus Irish accents because I botched it one day.
In Scotland, they do whiskey as well.
Yeah.
And not bourbon. That's an American thing.
Scotch. They do Scotch.
You know. All right.
Irish to Irish whiskey.
Right. All right. So today we're gonna do some shout outs.
Back to alienation. Let's do it.
Yeah. Shout out to Squish Zoe Saldana.
Oh my God.
You, your mouth's not that wide. It just looks that way with our art. Shout out to Michelle Obama. What kind of first lady looks that fashionable? I'll tell you what. Michelle Obama, that's who. Look at that. Look at that.
Am I right?
Obama. Get the fuck out of here. You're from Texas. Michelle Obama.
Michelle
What, she some
Obama.
kind of Muslim or something? She's some kind of Muslim? All right. Shout out to
That's Kamala Harris.
yeah, this is kind of like a first for me, but it's
Is it?
evolved
No, it's
into
That's not Kamala Harris.
Bro,
it's,
that is Michelle Obama.
Daniel, get out of here. Go home. You're
What
drunk.
did he say?
He said that's
Daniel said
Kamala.
that's not Obama. That's Kamala. First
That's
off,
definitely Michelle
That's-
Obama.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris would be saying, "We did it, guys. We did it. We fucking did it." Anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh, I usually don't give male shout outs. I've noticed that trend, but I've got to give a shout out to Michael B. Jordan, my man.
Hell yeah.
Right? This guy right here can act this good, but be a baller ass person. Like he's
What?
a good dude. Like he acts this well, but his ability to be a good human is like this big. So look at that scale, Michael B. Look at you. That's like if this is 1 and this is that's like a 20x right there. That's 20 to 1 right there for you. Look at that. Look, he's doing the eyebrows thing. Look at that. Look at it.
I can't
Can
do
you-
the eyebrow thing. That's pretty impressive. Can't do that.
I practiced this on the bus in middle school for hours.
On the bus?
Yeah.
You have a mirror?
Maybe they thought I was autistic. Maybe they didn't. I was like, look at my eyebrows. Look at them. All right. So, anyways, and the reason you're getting a shout out, bro, is because you tamed Lori Harvey. Yeah. Good job, man.
You're clicking
Good job,
this
man.
for yourself, right?
Am I? Am I,
Okay,
Jesse?
Yeah, yeah. Because I was just like, wow, the production quality like that Alicia's
Alicia,
pushing
am
out.
I?
Like,
Well, let's
yeah.
bring Michael B. Jordan back. Why not?
Oh my God, no! It was you. Wait, it's both of you working together.
Don't worry about how the juice is squeezed, baby. Just worry about the juice in the bottle, Jess.
This
All
is
right?
like a magic trick. This
Just
is
worry
fun.
about the juice in the bottle, baby. All right, don't worry about how it's squeezed. All right, this is Lori Harvey, who is not biologically related to Steve Harvey, but is his stepdaughter, but kind of awkwardly looks like him, given the lip situation going on. Not a racist thing. He's just got bona fide lips that are marketable, and she does too. Good on you, Michael B. Jordan. I think that's it on the shout outs. Did I forget anybody? Oh, you damn right I did.
Yeah.
I forgot about the twerk queen herself. All right, doing her thing. Her name defeats me right now. I can't really think of her name, which is weird. Maybe it's because I'm live.
Megan.
Megan the Stallion. That's absolutely right.
Wow.
Shout out to Megs. Look at you, girl, doing your thing. You're glowing. 24 karat gold. And you're changing the twerk game up. I know none of these shout outs have anything to do with crypto, but you obviously haven't been a fan of this show for very long if you're not aware how this works. Also, shout out to Corey and Jesse's mothers because, you know, they're awesome. They're great.
Big facts.
Big facts.
Big facts.
The best.
Often. Often has relations.
Shout out to Alicia and Daniel and Andy
Hey, do we have an
and
outro?
Yagi
Alicia,
and
do we have
Joe.
an outro?
I don't think we have an outro.
Well, time to make an outro.
Hey, play the outro.
Audio will
Here's
get one.
the Bitcoin podcast outro, baby. There it is.
That's a good
Oh,
one. That's fine.
and when you're on the moon on a
Welcome
roller
to the
coaster.
video production.
When you're-
Should be going down right